Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to 20 Sides to Every Story, and woohoo, big woo at the top.
Woo!
Thanks for the subscription. 7 months in a row. So, what a perfect way to start out our descent into Avernus night. Every Wednesday we meet up here at this time, 7 p.m., and we've been playing Descent into Avernus. Um, and I think I don't know who had the count. I think Kit, you had the count. Is this number 16?
This should be session number
All right.
16. Yes, it
That's what I'm
is.
telling the world, so I'm going to stick with that. That's how many we played so far. Yeah. Thanks everyone for coming and hanging out. As you see, you would always encourage. Thank you for subscribing. If you subscribe to the channel, there's a couple of cool things that happened for you. One of the things is that you earn your EXP, or internet points, for the channel, which they actually do something for you though, so that's cool. You can jump into the EXP store and redeem some items to. Most of the items are to help the players, but we have a couple of dastardly things in there also. But you can see the whole menu of things. You can buy the players inspiration. You can buy them nat 20s on death saving throws. You can do quirky things like name unnamed NPCs, start rumors, or bring on the wandering monsters. So, yes, spoiler alert: Avernus is in hell. And there's our Pruno is here. He's redeeming an inspiration. Let us know who you'd like that to go to. Aplos has a point of inspiration to start out the night. That's awesome. That's one thing that you can do as a subscriber. You also will get from time to time messages from me when we have openings in our community campaign game. I don't really have much for the subscribers quite yet, but keep a lookout. I'm going to try. I'm going to be trying to get some games going in July. Just waiting for my Lost City book to come. I think that book was delayed a little bit because of the COVID stuff. But hopefully in a little bit here, we're going to be starting a new segment of the community campaign that'll be open to level 1 characters, and that'll include some spots for our Twitch subscribers. So keep an eye out on your email. There also will be a place in our Discord for you to find signups for the community campaign. And even if you can't sign up as a subscriber, we've got lots of good folk that are offering games. Casey is running a couple of one shots coming up here. So yeah, get in our Discord so you can be quick on the draw to get into those games when they're offered. Yeah, so let's get going with our game here tonight. So our heroes here, the 4 characters that are joining us as player characters, have found themselves Eastwood. Wood Dude just redeemed award inspiration. Let us know who you'd like that to go to. They're gonna need lots of inspiration, I think. Laurel, you got inspiration, so there you go. So our characters are here in Avernus. Right now, the primary objective is the city of El Terrell has been pulled into the Nine Hells due to an agreement that was kind of embedded in legalese that Zariel had signed with the former spiritual leader of that town, and has doomed and cursed all of the. Casey's going to tell me something.
Alex, I think that would be called a clerical error.
Yes, it was a clerical error. Although he might have known what he was doing, but it was definitely a clerical error for everyone else. um, so all the townsfolk, all the people that live in El Terrell took a pledge that they unbeknowingly pledged themselves actually ultimately to Zariel's service. And so our heroes are looking for a way to reverse this, to help free those people. They've come to believe that maybe the key to all of this lies with finding Zariel's sword, which she wielded when she was not yet an archdevil, but still an angel, although maybe a little bit misguided in her reasons for having come to Avernus in the first place. The journey to finding the sword has not been so smooth. Fair to say. They have their companion Lulu, the Hollyphant, still a little misguided. Tried to lead them where she thought she remembered the sword being, but it turned out that perhaps the nature of Avernus moved that location, or I don't know that it's really clear to our heroes what happened there, whether it was an issue with Lulu's memory or if it's has something to do with the plane itself that made that happen. So right now, where they are is they're trying to find another way to find out where the sword is, and they may have a solution to that because they have a lead by ways of maybe meeting Tiamat, and they have something that Tiamat wants, and so this is maybe a dangerous plan, but it's one that might bear fruit.
Thanks for the gems, man!
And so, before we go any further, I think this is the point where we will introduce our characters. Players, please tell us your character name, your class, race, and just tell us a little bit about your character and what they're thinking as you are speeding along the open plains of Avernus in your infernal war machine. And let's start right at the top here on my screen with Evangeline. And you might be muted.
I think she's still having mic problems from before.
Okay, we will come back to you. Let's move forward here with Laurel.
Hello, my name is Kit. I play Lorem, a dwarven glamour bard. I am the employer of these fine adventurers you see here. They are part of Gold Shoulder Consulting and Concern, the firm that was hired, but more strong-armed into investigating why El Terrell suddenly ended up in Avernus. And Lorem doesn't really know what to think about what's going on. This was supposed to be, a fun little adventure in Baldur's Gate that turned into a kind of hostage situation in hell, and now he's going to go meet the Mother of Dragons. So he doesn't quite know what to think.
Scratch that off your bucket list.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Aplos.
Hi, I'm Casey. I am playing Aplos. Aplos is a high elven nobleman who also happens to be a paladin, and he's rather young. And he was looking forward to adventure, so he would bother Mr. Lorem constantly about being hired over and over again. Are you sure? Do you have any adventures today? And then eventually, adventure happened. And now, within the course of some weeks, he's gone from rescuing, attempting to rescue a kitten out of a tree that didn't quite go so well, to defeating demons in hell. So, he's on pace to do some rather good things over the next 600 years, given his 0 to 60 in, 2 weeks sort of situation. So he's thrilled about this whole situation, really living the whole adventure life. But there have been a few burdens that we've picked up, some souls that we're working to save from damnation and destruction in the fuel tank of our rather large clanking machine that runs on soul power. And also our little group being trapped in hell and El Terrell and other such things. But, adventure goes this way, and that's the way the lance goes. So there we go.
Lot of money invested in bagels and coffee to get to this moment.
Yes, scones, many scones,
Or scones,
several cookies.
yeah.
Yes. They did well. Still don't understand why he wrote the skull and crossbones in the booklet. Still trying to figure out, were they to die for? Is that what that symbolism was to mean? He really enjoyed coffee as black as death? I'm not sure what that was going for. Stop laughing at
Yeah,
me.
we may never know Jedrin's shorthand. All right, next up we have Bryn.
Hi, I'm Ethan, and I play Bryn Herthley. She is a halfling warlock of the fiend known as Blackcloak. Um, and I guess right now there's a lot on her mind. Uh, our main goal of trying to free the souls of El Terrell, learning about all these trap souls and soul coins, and her near-death experience a couple sessions ago. Uh, and this somewhat new side quest with their newfound friend Smiler. I don't think it's really sunk in that they're going to be meeting with the Tiamat, the Queen of Dragons, yet. It's kind of just everything's going on right now, and trying to just stay maybe even just an inch ahead of things right now. It's been a struggle, but kind of just getting through.
Yeah. All right, and then let's see if we've got Evangeline's audio.
Oh no.
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 How about now?
Nope.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope.
Nope.
Now?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey! Doesn't make any sense, but okay, we're going with it. I think you're picking it up from my monitor or something, but whatever. Okay, so hi, I'm Lauren, and I am playing Evangeline. She is a rogue changeling, and honestly, this is not what she thought she would be doing with her life, because she was doing very well as a merchant, and then there was the unfortunate incident with the bailiff and the unfortunate framing by one of our compatriots here. And so now here she is in hell, but trying to make the best of it and trying to get the job done, really as efficiently and justly as possible. And right now, her, I guess, biggest thought is, can we somehow make this still happen? And what do we need to do to make it happen? So that's what's going through her mind right now.
All right. So all of these things the characters think about, they are accompanied by a couple of other characters, like we mentioned. Lulu the Hollyphant is probably clinging pretty close to maybe Aplos at this point, as your infernal war machine is racing across the desolate landscape of Avernus. And I think probably right behind Lorem, like hanging out near the bucket seat where you're driving this thing, is Smiler, who's just like face like right parallel with yours, Lorem, like he's just kind of like talking to you like while you're driving. And so you're all sort of keeping your eyes aware of the atmosphere overhead, as you all have, I think, experienced at least once fiery comets streak across the sky from time to time with little warning of where they might deposit themselves. And so especially Lorem is probably paying attention to that in case evasive measures need to be taken at a split-second notice. But as you're driving along the ashen plains that are laid out before you, they start to transition into a different type of terrain. More, you feel yourself as the just a slight incline as you're moving up in elevation along the terrain, and this kind of maybe more gravelly terrain is transforming itself into more of a basalt cliffside that you're kind of switchbacking along. And Lorem, you can feel Smiler is just like, you really think you could do it? You think you could get me the soul coins for this mask?
Oh, most certainly.
Guaranteed.
I'm
What
a-
does that
I'm a-
mean?
I'm a rather smooth talker when I need
Yeah.
to be. So
Yeah.
I feel like we'll be able to materialize some profits here. Definitely, there should be some synergy going on.
Yeah, I like those
Smiler!
words that you're saying. And he's like big hug. He's just like, synergy. We got this.
Smiler, I wanted to ask you, how did you pull off that trick when you set the bombs? I'm very intrigued by your methods.
Oh well, it's just a matter of these things, these infernal war machines. You just have to know where to divert the power to. You got to take that
Oh,
and take that away from the engines, and you cross. And he starts like telling you about like the inner workings of the infernal war machine that he's studied it, and he knows which pockets of the machine are like the most volatile. If you pump enough energy to those pieces of machinery, it'll cause a combustion.
it's fascinating. That seems like a very useful skill.
Yeah, it's useful and it's highly entertaining.
Indeed. I was entertained.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you're taking notice of my work.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and as you're chit chatting with Smiler, you get to kind of like maybe like where you're feeling like the infernal war machine has hit the apex of the altitude that it's going to climb, and it kind of starts to smooth out, and you're kind of driving along now what seems like a big wide, um, kind of plateau, and you're drifting along, and as you were driving, Laurel, you notice up ahead that there seems to be kind of more of like a cliff, um, and there is like a small like strip of land that you can see that seems to like go for some incredible distance. You're measuring just like quick spot check, maybe 100 feet or so. So it's kind of this connecting land bridge over to another plateau on the other side of the ravine.
How big is this strip? Like,
It's like maybe like 10 feet wide. Um,
okay.
so you're feeling,
So,
you're probably pumping the brakes at this point as you're seeing this.
yeah. No, as soon as I saw any sort of cliff, it is probably a little bit of a knee jerk reaction. So everybody was just chilling, probably got jerked a little. It's like, oh, cliff.
Aplos is like sitting facing backwards because he's got the big wrecking ball seat, and he's got the left hand. He's like, "Huh. Well, that's curious. With all the terrain that I've seen go past us, I wonder what it is that made him actually slow down." Oh, um, yes, Mr. Lorum. Um,
Uh,
what's
it's a cliff. So I'm like quickly bringing us down to a more idle pace so we can just ease on up and park by whatever this little land bridge is.
um? Well, are we supposed to be on this side of the bridge or that side of the bridge?
As you look out to the other side, you do see, not directly on the other side, but off in the distance, but far enough out, and it's large enough that it this object that you see, it's a tower, and you were instructed to find a tower, and so you can see it, some thousands of feet out, and it's small on the horizon, but you can tell that off of this what appears to be a singular tower are a number of branching off, kind of side towers that kind of branch out towards the top of it. Five distinct, um, structures that connect off of the main tower.
Oh,
Well, I think that's the place.
it does sort of have that feel to it. Um,
Are and
do
we
you
can't.
think walk or drive though?
I don't feel comfortable taking Mad Mackey's vehicle across that precarious uh bridge right there.
And in fact, you probably think that if you even tried, you might get it jammed. Like the treads might kind of slip off how narrow it is compared to your vehicle.
Oh.
And as you're maybe surveying that, you'll see what's below it is the churning red waters of the river Styx, maybe some 80 feet down below in the ravine. And you can see it moving, and it's coursing underneath.
So
And
like,
as you're... Go ahead.
is it like whitewater rapids underneath?
Probably not that fast. It's like a pretty thick, viscous kind of material. So it's moving more like maybe like the speed of like
fast
thick
lava.
pudding or lava.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you can see your gaze turns to the direction of the flow, and you can see it off in that direction, like it is cascading off of the plane itself into
Oh.
just darkness, a void that doesn't really make sense visually for you.
I don't like it here.
This is the edge of hell.
Well, if I remember the river Styx properly, the good news is if you fall in, you won't remember the fall.
Oh, great.
Yes. Um,
Well, I guess we're walking. And Lauren will kind of pack up his things and kind of just hop down side of the demon grinder.
yes. Come on, Stevia. Time to be a horse again.
Did we get a
And,
chance to summon Stevia again? Because Stevia got zapped.
Stevia got zapped, but it takes 10 minutes, so I can walk and summon and then poof.
Yeah. Lulu is just kind of like clinging real close to you, Aplos, and you can just feel her kind of tremor, like she's just like shaking like a dog that has heard too many fireworks going off.
Oh, don't worry, Lulu. This is a step towards reuniting with Serial, which I know you want to do, and we have some unpleasant things to do before then, but it'll be fine.
I know. I trust you. But
Yes.
oh, I'm so scared.
Yes. Well, bravery is moving forward even when you are scared. So think of how brave we must all be, or foolhardy. Could go either way.
And probably as you're saying that, like Smiler is just like doing some kind of like a balance beam kind of thing off of like some rockiness up ahead, like hey.
Yes. Well, fools go where, I guess that's a little inappropriate right now, but
Smiler, don't drop the mask, please, honey.
Oh,
That's kind of why we're here. Remember that.
I'll be fine if I fall. I'll teleport back up. It's okay. I can do that, I think.
Oh, can you think? So you might not be able to.
Oh, fine. And he stops off. He's just like, have a little optimism. Like, have a little faith in Smiler sometimes.
Smiler, we're in hell. Optimism, that ship sailed before we got to hell.
Well, that's why I'm trying to flip that around for you, you know? The smile and the rosy outlook on life. This is going to be fine. I can tell you're all stressed out about this Tiamat thing. Like, 'cause she has the title of goddess. What does that even mean? Who cares? We got a thing that she wants. This is going to be a transaction. Laurel is going to do an awesome job with. We're going to do the exchange. We're going to learn some stuff. You can find your sword that you're looking for. I have 110% confidence in y'all.
oh yes.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And first, we have to get there, though. So this precarious-looking bridge, buddy system, and I will immediately go and stand close to Bryn because I know Bryn is the one that can cast fly.
Good call.
Yeah. I'm as we're walking, I'm gonna start whispering to Laurel. So, you really think you can negotiate a goddess?
Outsmart a goddess? No. But negotiations can be quite equal. There's been many instances in history where mere mortals have negotiated quite complex and fascinating deals with gods. I mean, you made one with a devil.
Yeah, although I think we're both on the same page that that probably wasn't the most advantageous position for me to be at.
No, but we have something that she wants, and she invited us via a proxy.
Yeah, I guess that's
I just hope she doesn't kill us all as soon as she gets it.
Well, good luck, I guess.
Thanks.
So as you cross this land bridge over to the other side, you start to make your way towards that tower that you see. And as you are approaching closer, the dark tower grows in size. Your perception of it is starting to take in how truly large it is. Black spire raises up hundreds of feet into the sky. The ramparts bristle with charred skulls mounted on iron spikes. And you can see the five kind of adjacent towers that sprawl off of the top of it. Sort of give it a visage of like a clawed hand reaching out at the reddish crimson sky of Avernus. And as you're looking up at it, you can see circling above it is a great white dragon that is stained with ash and soot, the marks of its life here in Avernus. The closer and the closer that you approach, you can see figures are shuffling atop the ramparts of each of those towers. It seems that they've noticed you. You just get this sense that there's kind of a calm or a quiet as you're approaching within 100 feet of the tower now at this point.
Well, I suppose there's nothing to do but fly our banner. And then he starts working to attach one of those cloaks that they had made up with their little logo and emblems and such on it to the end of his lance, and then he hoists it up.
With all the branding, yeah.
With all the branding, yes.
Gotta represent.
Well, I did
all
have
about
my
marketing.
I didn't have my sandwich board. That was left behind, but I do still have the banner. So up that goes, little
This way
banneret.
to great adventures.
Yes. Except the arrow now kind of points down.
So you've got this. You're flying your banner, and at the base of the tower, these large iron-bound, solid iron doors start to lurch open, and from within the gloom steps out a figure who looks like this. Seems to be your best guess. Kind of looks like a turtle. You've heard of turtles from where you come from. And his shell is entirely etched in what appears to be some kind of writing or rune script. And he has a very sullen grimace on his face as he is moving out. And he's accompanied by four figures that look to you like shuffling undead that are accompanying him as he moves out. He maybe moves up maybe 20 feet outside the doors. You can't see anything past him. Into the tower, it's just pitch black darkness. And he's relying on this it almost looks like a warhammer of some kind that is crafted in this kind of gnarly necromantic type of shape, with all adorned with skulls. And he's kind of using that to kind of brace his weight. You get the sense that maybe he's quite elderly as he's kind of lurching forward, but he gazes out at you, and in a sort of soft voice, he just asks, "What arrogance is this that brings you to these lands of the Dark Queen?"
Uh, uh, Searching my notes as a player for the name. Uh, um,
And he just Smiler's like digging in his pack, and he just like thrusts the black dragon mask like into your hands, Lorem. He's like, "You got this, buddy."
um, we were messaged by a Shelganai and encouraged to return something of your goddess's possessions or desires, and we're here to return what's rightfully hers.
Present your your tribute to the Dark Queen.
I will walk
And
forward and
he like kind of motions for one of the ghouls to kind of move forward, and it shambles forward, and it's clawed, almost like, it's got the disgusting yellow fingertip hands where the fingernails are just curling up over its fingertips, and it's just reaching out.
I will think back on all of the social gatherings as a child I had to attend in Baldur's Gate and put on a very fancy and formal and deferential kind of like motion as I kneel and present the mask.
And as you do so, you're probably breathing through your mouth a little bit because this thing is just rank. As he reaches out and takes hold of the mask and returns it back to the turtle, who picks it up and beholds it, and kind of turns a side glance to you all. "Very well. On behalf of the Dark Queen, I will accept this."
We were also wondering if we might get some direction from the Dark Queen as well, if she would be ever so kind. We seek information that might be used to take down one of her enemies.
You wish to You wish to commune with the Dark Queen, the Queen of Dragonkind?
If she would so ever graciously grant us such an opportunity, yes.
You? This is an honor that hasn't even been bestowed upon me. How dare you come here and ask such a thing?
We would gladly speak through a proxy. We have no need to present ourselves directly before her.
You just see him.
If it would so
He
offend.
raises a finger, like he like as you're talking, intentionally interrupts you, and you see him kind of like turn his back, and like he's moving like kind of like closer towards the tower. His ghouls don't follow him. Laurel, make a insight check as he is doing this.
Gladly.
You're not sure exactly. You can't see his face. He's got his back turned to him, but you feel like he's interacting with the mask maybe in some way. Like it looks like maybe he's holding it in kind of an awkward way, but you're not really sure what he's doing.
I kind of lean over to Smiler and go, "Did the mask ever talk to you?"
Oh, hey, what would you do that for? You just gave up the mask. Where about the coins?
That it's these things are long drawn out processes. Don't worry, we'll get to it.
Oh, okay. See,
Yep.
I'm glad I have you because I would have gone straight to that.
Yeah, no,
Show me
it's
the
something
money.
that
That's what I say.
yeah, it's something that might have to get filed in paperwork, and we'll get a shipment. It's all very formal.
As you're explaining explaining the rules of engagement with Smiler, the turtle turns around and he says, "Very well. But it cannot happen here. We will have to go closer. We will have to go to her monument. There you will speak with Arkan."
We shall go wherever you lead us.
And he looks back at the tower, and you see him he raises his staff, and he kind of gives it a whirl, and he like brings it down a couple of times, sending some kind of message. And moments later, you could see what emerges is a minotaur who is flanked by two white Abishai. And the turtle says, "This lot wishes to meet with Arkan. It'll be some journey from here. We will go together. Are you prepared?"
Yes, we are.
Good. And you can see the the Minotaur is kind of like inspecting you all with discerning eyes, and kind of moves over to Bryn, and he's staring down at you. You know, probably feet taller than you, and he just starts like kind of poking at you. He says, "You think you have what it takes to speak with our goddess? How dare you? What business do you have with her?"
Hey, one of your Tiamat's followers contacted us. It wasn't us looking for Tiamat. I mean, we're here to help the Queen of Dragons. She asked for us, not the other way around.
We'll see. We'll see. And he just kind of moves ahead, and he starts leading the pack. You can tell that they, at times, as you start to lead, you start to move away from the tower, kind of beyond it, into what maybe feels more like the rest of Avernus that you've experienced, just kind of like desolate, flat waste. At times, the group has to kind of slow down to allow for Krull to keep up. But as you're traveling, at some point, Smiler just starts like laughing, and the Minotaur just turns around and is staring at him, and he says, "What is so funny? Why are you smiling? You stop smiling before I cut it off of your face." And Smiler is just like, I can't help it. I'm just really nervous. I'm called Smiler. That's why I'm not called Frowner or anything like that. It's just the way I am. This is just me.
Good sir, pay no mind to him. He's from the Feywild, so.
I don't care where he's from. He's being disrespectful.
I completely agree with you. He is rather disrespectful in tone, but I do wish to impress upon you that I don't think he's well.
Well, if he can't keep it together, there's no way I'm taking this one to Tiamat before her and her speaker.
And that is an entirely fair and just decision.
And you can see him. He's instructing you. He's instructing the two Abishai. Take him back to that tower. We won't go with him. And they're put. You know, the two Abishai move forward, and they both grab Smiler's shoulders, and he's like, "He's got Laurel. Can't you talk him out of this?"
Just like, like giving small hand motions, like, don't worry about it. No, it's good. It's all according to plan.
Give me let's make it an insight check if you can like correctly signal to Smiler in a way that he understands. Okay, he's just like, "Oh," and he gives you like a big obvious wink. And as this happens, the two Abishai start to kind of like drag him away, and then you're left with just Krull, his four ghouls, and this Minotaur.
Mr. Kroll, well, it seems like perhaps the pace isn't entirely suitable to you. Would you like to ride my steed?
And he gazes at your steed, who's fitting to the setting, and he says, "That is that would be acceptable. We will take your offer."
Yes. Oh, splendid. And Aplos will do one of his male escort tricks, which is basically he sort of kneels and he braces his lower leg plate on his boot so that Kroll can step up on it. And the leg plate takes all the weight. Like it makes him look like he's easily lifting this monster up to the saddle, but really it's just you step down on the leg plate and up you go. It's kind of one of those like when you scoot someone in tricks, you lift the chair just slightly, but you really push with your foot.
Make me I don't know. Either an intimidation check or a performance check. I guess I'm okay with either of those.
We'll go intimidation, sure.
Okay. You can see Toragar, the Minotaur, just like kind of raises an eyebrow, and you just see, I don't know. It seems like maybe a facial sign that maybe shows he's impressed, or at least he's gonna think twice about maybe picking on you. And so you boost up Krull, who probably makes Stevia buckle a little bit with how heavy Krull is, but you start to move, and the pace quickens now that the elder is taken care of on the steed. And so you continue forward, and in doing so...
Thanks for the jams, man!
Oh, hey, thank you for the cheer. Appreciate that. That's a big one. Thank you. Up ahead, you can see, as you're moving closer, you can see kind of the outline of a mountain range up ahead. And as you drive in closer, you can see that your destination appears to be this colossal skeletal dragon skull that leans up against the mountainside, and its mouth is agape, kind of giving it this look of that's like a cavern entrance into the mountains itself. Surrounding the terrain here outside of the dragon skull are hundreds, maybe thousands of bones, the size of houses, huge. Maybe the remains of several dragons discarded here. There's acrid smoke that rises from the skull's eye sockets and the maw. There's a military tent which has been pitched among these bones, and parked next to it is a two-wheeled infernal war machine. Looks very similar to Smiler's bike that he rode. Gathered around this tent are a dozen chattering reptilian humanoids with gleaming swords, white scales, and white leathery wings. And as you're approaching, Krull kind of announces, "I bring the guests, the ones that have recovered the dragon mask." And within very short order, there are dozens of white Abishai that kind of surround your group. And among them is another figure, a dragonborn, who wields the emblem on his armor of Tiamat. And the most notable thing that you notice about him is that his left hand is kind of this necrotic greenish color, and it almost seems like it's maybe welded or stitched on or grafted onto his arm at the elbow. And we had just in the community campaign gotten all done with the Hand of Vecna crap, and now here we are.
Oh.
So He emerges amongst the Abishai and says, "Well, what have we got here? You are the four that we have been told about. You wish to speak with Tiamat? You have the mask?"
Yes.
And
Yes and no.
Krull holds it up for him to see, and he says, "Good, good." And you get the sense that he's maybe about to launch into, you know, berating you for not being of dragonkind and being in this place. But suddenly his eyes kind of like, his whole head kind of starts to seizure, and his eyes just go this inky black as his whole body starts to seizure and kind of convulse, and he starts to kind of like lift up his feet at least a foot off the ground. He drops his weapon on the ground. And as this happens, you just get you start to see from the darkness of the skull, kind of chromatic aura of blue, green, red, white, black, kind of pierce through the eye sockets of the skull, and you hear coming from Arkan, this dragonborn, this discordant voice. It almost sounds like five reptilian voices kind of layered on top of each other, just out of sync by mere fractions of a second. And it kind of gives it this impressive, almost like booming tone as you hear the voice of Tiamat say, "You have brought me something that I have been searching for. You have proven yourself to be capable. I speak to you now through my envoy to spare you the mental anguish of beholding my true form. I know that you come seeking the location of Zariel's sword. This is information that I am willing to trade in return for something that I need doing."
I uh, immediately take to one knee and bow my head. Um, what is it that you would ask of us, Your Majesty?
You four are uniquely qualified for what I am to ask you. You four are mortals of the realms. I had much stolen from me by Zariel's ancient agents. My vast wealth that I have hoarded. She found a way. She has broken the spirit of our arrangement, my arrangement with Asmodeus, and she has siphoned away my wealth to her followers in Baldur's Gate. My treasure diverted to the Van Thamper family and her cultists. I want it back. I understand you four understand Baldur's Gate. You've been there, you've lived there. If you can if you can secure my wealth, my treasure hoard once more, so that my followers on the realms can bring it back to me, I shall share with you the secret of your sword."
Uh, upon hearing the Van Thamper name, I kind of look up at where Archon is, but not make eye contact, kind of just like be able to see, but still differential. I kind of just smile and goes, "We're familiar with the Van Thampers. In fact, we have a bit of unfinished business with them already. It would be our pleasure."
Very well. The Baldur's Gate that you are about to return to is different than when you left it. You will meet with my agent in Baldur's Gate. He will get you up to speed on the current situation. You will go to a tavern known as the Three Old Kegs, and there you will find my agent, Rathmodar. Sorry, ally is probably the word I should use there. If there is nothing else, Krull can help you with transportation.
We will do as you ask and return what was wrongfully stolen from you.
And with that, you can see Arkan, the Dragonborn, kind of falls to the ground. Tiamat releases her control over him as her speaker, and he just kind of drops, maybe not quite unconscious, but just woozy and groggy. He's trying to recollect himself, as Krull, the turtle, starts like he hits the ground with his warhammer a couple of times, and he says, "Come. Let us prepare the ritual to send you back to the realms."
Yes.
I just turn around to the group and go,
We're
Oh.
going back?
Mr. Lurlm, her divinity said that Mr. Kroll would be dealing with transportation. I feel that we will likely need some soul coins for our transportation here as well.
well, I feel like we will be able to make arrangements. We already know someone who can get us back here if need be.
I think our friend who you might be thinking of is currently occupied, captured.
Well, that was the friend, and the original friend we talked to is in an entire institution full of people who are good with
yes.
magic. I'm sure there's someone else.
Yes. I would like to help that friend.
We have a very long to-do list, one thing at a
Yes.
time.
And it keeps getting longer.
But listen, it sounds like we're in the right direction. If we do this, which I see no downsides to doing, honestly, then we will be in a very good position to help all of our friends and everyone we need to help. So this seems opportune.
Yeah.
Honestly, from what I've gathered, Zariel appearing stirred up a lot of things. I think I'm beginning to think it might not even be a bad thing morally to put things back the way they were.
Well, if El Terrell can be saved through it, that would be a lot of souls saved.
And that is our objective here. Let's not forget that.
And we could
Yes.
save El Terrell and Baldur's Gate, potentially. Just writing the universe.
Yes. Though I'm a bit curious, I seem to recall Dame Van Thamper being rather thoroughly turned into jelly.
Well, but she had the sons.
The lower half
the
of her
dynasty.
was turned into jelly, and then the top half of her was transported into hell. And having been here for some time now, I'm fully convinced that she's still walking around somehow.
Oh, that would be unpleasant.
She was a very unpleasant woman to begin with.
She was.
She did throw good winter parties, though.
These were good parties.
Okay.
So
Parties aside, which was probably the stolen wealth.
Krull is just standing there, like, as you're like, talking this all through. He's like, "Are you done?"
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we should likely go now.
All right.
Sorry.
Well, Link, your hands, and I will begin the ritual, and you will find yourselves back. As you hold hands, he starts to speak the words, and you start to feel yourself drifting away and having that nauseating feeling, just like when um, your otter friend brought you here in the first place, as you get whisked back to Baldur's Gate. Your eyes adjust once again to being back on the mortal plane. Here we gotta change our view here.
Link.
Yeah, we'll just pop up the map of Baldur's Gate. That's where we're at. You yes, but you all are teleported and plane shifted back. As your eyes are adjusting, you're beginning to recognize exactly where you stand. The space around you is the wide. You're back where the journey all began, but the wide looks nothing like what you remember. This open civic space was once bustling with activity, and different vendors set up their stalls and things like that. All of that has been taken down, and it's just a big, wide, empty space. With just nothing but the kind of gravel road that is evidence of the walking path that people took throughout the shopping center. It's quiet, but there's an eeriness that is pierced occasionally by ambient screams somewhere out in the city. As you're looking around, there is one person here, a young boy, maybe about 12 years old. He's got some casual clothing, but the type of dress that a noble's son might wear. And he's playing with a kite at one end of the wide.
You know, they always did give Bailiff Jedry too little credit. He was the beating heart of the Wide.
What happened?
I don't know. Hello? Yes, young master. Oh,
My name's
I
Cedric.
can't place the face. Cedric. Hello. I'm Lord Aplos, Althea. And these are my associates. We've been gone, it seems, a bit, and just returned to town, and it seems a little off at the moment. Where are all the stalls and vendors?
Oh, well, no one's allowed to set up shop right now. It's not safe, or that's what the adults say.
Oh, um, what is it not safe from?
Well, I don't really understand it, but people say that people in the lower city and even people from the outer city are mad at um, the patriarchs. Who,
Don't say.
Well, that doesn't make any sense at all.
well, more so than normal. There's an uprising.
Oh, well, that will need to be quelled rather quickly then.
Well, I don't know. My dad says the Flaming Fist have really botched it up.
That is what they do best.
Wait, you mean the upper city is being attacked by the lower city right now?
Well, I don't know. I think it's safe. I haven't seen anything. I just wanted to get outside, but I think it's safe. They say that the gates are on lockdown.
Well, it doesn't do to challenge authority. So if you've been instructed to stay inside by your parents or guardians, you ought to do so. Otherwise, what example does that set for the lower classes?
And he's kind of looking at you like with a stink face sort of judgment, but then you hear someone calling his name out in the background, and then he gets all worried and he rolls up his kite and puts it under arm, and away he goes. back home.
Well, then. So, the city is still here. That's better than I was expecting.
Well, yes. One of the Grand Dukes has fallen, but there are still 3 others?
Yes, but one of them is in Avernus currently.
Oh, yes. So we're down to 2.
Um, I wonder what the guild is
Probably
doing
you
these
all would know
days.
that actually one of so there's 2 remaining dukes. One of them has been basically comatose for some time. Like they have the title, they have the position, and like they maybe show up for like important votes, and like they're still able to do that and function well enough that no one's impeached them or taken them out.
It's young Mr. Grace. You're all doing
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah.
But we still have one Grand Duke, and we know where one is, and we'll be recovering him soon. So that should be fine. And as he's doing this, Aplos is going through the motions to make Stevia appear again, and this time in dog form because you're not allowed to have quadrupeds in, well, you're not allowed to have big quadrupeds in
Right.
the city. Gotta follow them rules. So, well, shall we call directly upon Van Damper Villa?
Are we not concerned with what's going on in our city right now?
I think we should figure out what's going on.
I got family out
First.
there.
Well, you have family, you have contacts. I mean, it'd surely be safe for you to slip in and see what's going on, and you can come back and tell us.
I
I
need
don't
to
think we should bring Aplos down. I'm just saying. I think that would be
go.
a poor
And
idea.
Bryn's just gonna run off, head towards the lower city where her parents' shelter is to make sure they are safe.
Okay.
Oh, but the gates, Miss Bryn, they're closed. Oh.
So yeah, it probably makes sense that like the closest place that you would go would probably be like this gate here. And as soon as you get there, you can see kind of the iron portcullis is down, and the outer wooden doors have been closed, and there's a number of flaming fist standing by, a couple of them in towers that flank the gatehouse. It's like completely shut down, and there's probably like 20 or so of them on hand at this particular gate, and it just seems like they're positioned that if anybody broke through that gate, they'd be ready to pounce. And you could just hear like the ambient noises of a large crowd on the other side of the gate. People shouting obscenities, "Down with the patriarch!"
Oh man. Okay. Do they see me right now?
No one's really looking out at the upper city. You know, their attention is on the gate and what's happening on the other side.
Okay. Oh boy. All right. Did anyone else follow me, or did I just run off? I know I just ran off. I wasn't looking to see if anyone followed me.
Yeah, I
Not
don't
sure.
think that. I mean, not to speak for the others, but I don't think that any of us would be particularly welcome in the lower city at this juncture. So I
think we would follow along at a distance to make sure you didn't come into trouble in the upper city. Because I think Aplos has known that, if you get like more than 5 blocks ahead of him, you get hassled until he catches up. Like, we've learned that about the upper city. So he's always like close enough to be like, no, she's fine. She's with me.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get to the gates and I'll just call up to the Flaming Fist and say, "Hey, what's going on? What's with the crowd outside?"
And like one of them turns around and says, "Get back! Stay away from this area. Take shelter. Get inside if you can."
What's going on? What are they all shouting about?
And then he just looks back and he's like, "Are you an idiot? You,
Yes, let's assume I am. And let's assume that I don't know, been in hell for the past 2 weeks. Can you
He's
catch me up on what's going on?
he's like, your words are like not registering. He's like, there's an uprising. We got riots in the streets.
Yeah, finally, but why now?
Look, and like this, he's like the one guy that's gonna like run interference. So he splits off from the rest, and he just comes over. And he's like, "Look, what's your name?"
Bryn
Bryn.
Hursley.
Bryn Hursley. Okay. Look, I don't know
What's
how
your
you
name?
say. My name is
What's your badge number?
Sergeant Herman. You want my badge number? And he says, "Look, I don't know how to explain this, but from what we understand, we lost a lot of folk down at the main gate a couple of days ago. It's he's trying to relive or explain to you in a way that makes sense this story that he's about to tell you, but it doesn't really make sense to him. But he tells you this thing, it attacked all the people at the front gate, killed dozens upon dozens of flaming fists. It was winged. It just ripped through us. It was a slaughter. And as soon as it was done, it opened the gates and proclaimed itself the savior of Baldur's Gate and the punisher of the greedy and the wicked. Calls itself Gargoth.
And where is this Gargoth?
I don't know. We haven't been able to locate exactly where he is, but the last thing I heard is he attacked the Flaming Fist headquarters. Most of us, those that lived, made it back here, and we closed down the gates.
Great, thanks. I'm gonna cast Fly and start heading out. First stop, gonna go to my family shelter, make sure they're okay.
Okay. So we'll push pause. So you'll successfully fly overhead. No one's really expecting that, and you would be able to fly in such a way that you'd probably be out of the peripheral vision of the guards in the gate tower who are looking down at the crowd. So you make it to the other side, touch down in a kind of vacant corner street intersection, and you'd be able to make your way to the outer city. And once you get to Basilisk Gate, which leads to the outer city, you'll see that the doors have been completely obliterated and busted open, and there's the refugees from El Terrell are not crowded out there anymore. If you're to understand the story from this Sergeant Herman that you're talking to, they've all been welcomed into the city.
Awesome.
By this devil that has come to the people. So we'll push pause on Bryn, and we'll come back to you and your family. Evangeline, Laurel, and Aplos. What are you all up to?
Well, we need to contact Tiamat's ally.
Yes.
We also have allies of our own. We might want to touch in. We gave the guild some powerful things, and I don't know if they might have a hand in this. I wonder if we should try and get in touch with Tarina.
Not a bad idea. I mean,
En route, could we just swing by my house? I really would like an apple.
Oh my god, food.
I would very much like an apple. I just, I could just pluck one as we go. It won't take more than a moment.
We were supposed to meet You were supposed to meet her.
Rathmodar.
I look around when I start saying those names out loud. We supposed to meet them in a tavern, right?
Mm-hmm.
With taverns have ale.
Yes.
We should go do that.
Yes.
All right. So oh, go ahead.
No, that's it. It just
Okay.
Applos is just like, I want an apple.
I would not say no to an apple either. So
my noble privilege is kicking in here. An apple is going to happen.
Okay. So side stop to grab the apples before heading to the 3 old kegs. So you do that. You start to crunch your way through the streets, and you see the 3 old kegs is probably one of the older taverns in Baldur's Gate. It's here in the upper city, so you have no problem getting to it.
Would those who live here in the upper city be familiar with it?
Yeah, you'd be probably familiar with it. This is basically this is where the Flaming Fist, or sometimes retired Flaming Fist, like to hang out here. It's owned by
bar.
It's a cop bar. Yeah, it's owned actually by 3 former Flaming Fist retired mercenaries. So as you make your way there, you can see it from the outside. It's a very delightful looking, well maintained building, and it's maybe got some older motifs to it, the construction and things like that. The sign, which hangs from a pole in front of the building, is composed of 3 lashed together whiskey barrels that make up the signage from the street. As you enter through the front doors, you're welcomed by the smell of alcohol and pipe tobacco. Bartender is a human male with a large nose. It's kind of covered in warts. Looks quite reddish. He looks up at you all and welcomes you in. It's daytime, so there's not a whole lot of people in here, and probably the fact that most Flaming Fists are probably putting in overtime right now means that it is quite vacant. But you can see the wooden beams that support the upper balcony are all decorated in different pennants and flags and emblems of various insignias of the Flaming Fist from over the years. And as you're kind of surveying the tap room, other than the bartender, you do recognize there's one table that there's 3 Flaming Fists sitting there, and one of them you recognize as former Captain Zaj. Recognize him pretty instantly because of his eye patch. There's several bottles that are laid out on the table, several of them tipped over, and they all look. Zaj himself looks like he's on the verge of probably passing out. And then there's another individual here, kind of at a back booth. You can see human male, just kind of wearing traveler's clothes, smoking a pipe, and has an intently focused on staring at you 3 as you walk through.
So Applos, as soon as he walks in, is going to take his coin pouch, which has 20 gold in it. He's just going to drop it in front of the bartender and says, I apologize for the mess, but I'm going to need the finest of everything and keep it coming. And then he goes, he's just like, whatever.
I can do that.
Yes. And you'll need to bring a broom. There's likely to be a bit of dust. And as he's doing this, he's sort of like taking off most of his plates, and just like ash dust falls and just makes them like somebody coming out from the beach.
And he's starts slinging some drinks your way for the 3 of you, and takes your meal orders and whatnot.
I immediately go and I want a handle of gold shoulder mead.
You got it. And he takes your order and slings that down your way, and oh, does it taste good?
Quite literally tastes like home for me. And I'm flinging prestidigitations at everybody because now that we're kind of just like sitting at a bar, I realize how awful we all look.
Everyone is just.
No need for the broom. And he puts the broom aside. What's...
It's like, oh, and if you could send a tailor over.
He's like,
I'm days out of fashion.
Apple's love.
What?
I think where we're going, it's not going to matter.
It always matters.
Okay, you are right. You are right. I'm going to excuse myself and kind of go over to Zaj and say, what has happened to you?
And he's just looking at you and he's like, what has happened to me is I have gotten drunk.
I see that. Quite.
And I am exhausted. I'm off duty. I pay my taxes. I have a right to do whatever I damn well please in my free time.
I'm sure you've arrested many people who've said that, yes.
Yeah.
But,
what do you want? You just come to here
no,
harass me.
I didn't come to antagonize you. I'm curious. Honestly, what has become of you? I have heard that there was, an uprising and incident at the gate, but we haven't heard that. We were ready. So what's happened? What's happened to you, man?
You can just tell, like, he has, like, no idea who you are. Like
yeah.
He doesn't recognize you or anything, but he's just like, look, I did the best that I could when I was in charge. If I was still in charge, none of this would have happened. And then he's, like, pointing at the other two Flaming Fists who are, like, passed out, not listening. He's like, I told you guys, if I had been in charge, none of this would have happened. But it's all corrupt. This city's corrupt.
I won't argue with that, but I mean, corruption didn't lead to this.
It's nepotism. They put Liara Portier in charge just because she's the daughter of the Duke. I had things under control. She didn't have my touch.
Oh,
yep.
Actually, nepotism only happens in common families. In nobility, there's a divine right.
There's nothing right about it.
So, Patir, so she's not one of the vampires then. She's the other Duke's relation.
And he says, she's Lord Portier's daughter.
Okay.
She's in charge now, and everything has gone to hell.
I can assure you, it has not.
Yes, only El Terrell.
And he's just like, huh? And he's like, yeah, things are going to hell just like El Terrell.
Oh, that would be rather bad.
He clearly doesn't, understand.
He has no understanding of what actually happened. Yeah, no, he's just like, yeah. Well, hopefully you'll have better days then, I suppose. And chin up. Back away for like a little bit.
And he just starts like going on his talk track to the two passed out. It would have been okay. And he just keeps going over and over in circles as you move away from the table.
Okay.
And maybe we'll push pause on what's happening in the tavern and go and check out what Bryn is up to. Why don't we actually take maybe like just a quick 5-minute break, and then when we come back we will pick up with being back in Baldur's Gate. Thanks everybody that's been hanging out with us. We'll just be back in just a few minutes or so. So we got plenty more. All right, we are back, and where we are picking back up is Bryn, who's native of Baldur's Gate, is quite concerned about how things are faring for her family, and used a fly spell to make it over the wall, the original wall of Baldur's Gate. To go from the upper city down into the lower city. You're navigating through the streets. Um, you're just kind of like as you're moving along, you can just like sense that a lot of the action or a lot of the protests and the crowd are butted up right along the gates and the walls of the upper city. But even down in the lower city, with this influx of newcomers, the extra people from El Terrell, the streets are quite crowded and just kind of busy. And all throughout the streets, there are tents and sleeping rolls that are kind of tucked into alleys and things like that. People are just trying to kind of make their way, make whatever makeshift homes that they can now that they're within the walls of the city. But eventually you make your way out into outer city, which is remarkably quiet from where it was or what it was like when you last were here. And you pass through the Basilisk Gate, which no longer has is closed at all, and out into the kind of poor district of the outer city. And you make your way to the orphanage that your family maintains. And I don't know. I'll let you. Do you want to describe the building or what this looks like? The orphanage.
Yeah. So her family are all, or her parents are devout followers of Cyril, who is a halfling god of hospitality. The shelter used to be actually a temple to Cyril, back when some Baldur's Gate nobles were looking to, gain social favor with the common folk, and were donating funds to keep this temple prosperous. But as of late, donations have dried up. A lot of nobles haven't been donating, so it's a well built shelter. It's out of stone. There's a nice thick dark wood door that adorns the entrance, but it's clear that it hasn't been well maintained. There's the windows are probably shuttered now, and there's it just seems like it's seen better days, but it is a well built structure. Yeah.
So as you walk through, so it kind of has kind of like a more of like a church or temple like kind of feel a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit run down, in disrepair from years of not having the money necessarily to prioritize every little piece of work that needs to be done on it, but still kind of has its charm and its form. And as you walk in, you know, you can see that kind of the main common room or hall, scores upon scores of young children, of you know some that you recognize perhaps, some that you don't, newcomers, and your mother is here, and she is looking out. She recognizes you. It takes her a moment to take in that she's looking at her daughter, and she says, "Bryn, where have you been? Come here!" And she, arms outstretched, comes over and gives you a big hug. She says, "We've been worried sick about you."
Yes, mother, it's so good to see you. Yes, it's a long story, but what's going on? I've been away for a few days, and I come back to
Well,
this.
I know we were worried sick. We kept getting. We got a bag of money. That
Money?
money. And she kind of takes you. She says, "Follow me," and then she like takes you into um, a small what once was like an office, but is a place where they maybe do some accounting and maintain documents and things like that from donations that they get. And she kind of lifts up a floorboard, and tucked in a little nook there, she pulls out this bag of coin. Just by looking, it looks pretty hefty. You think there's probably a solid 150 coins in there. A lot of money for someone operating the orphanage like this. And she says, it just it just showed up on our doorstep. This is why we feared the worst. We hear about these kinds of things with the guild from time to time.
Um, yes, well, I suppose that um, the gods smile upon us. This is good news, right? We have enough money. We can start putting it back into the shelter. We can buy new clothes for the kids. This is good news, right?
Well, yes. I mean, now that I see you step through the door, we thought the worst. We thought that maybe this was some kind of blood money or what. Where have you been, Bryn?
It's a long story. I've been with Aplos. You remember Aplos?
Oh
Um,
yes.
we've just been taking care of some tasks. Uh, it's somewhat related, I guess. But better question: where's father? Is he okay? The
Oh,
others?
he's your father is fine. He's with those folk in the city.
The the ones out by the gate to the inner city?
Yes.
Yes. What's going
Idiot.
on? I heard there was some sort of attack through Basilisk Gate and protests. What's going on?
Yes, that's I didn't see it myself, but the people are saying that um, just in the middle of the day, this being, wings, huge expansive wings like a dragon, horns, and it cried out and declared itself the one that was going to deliver us out of our wretchedness and welcome all back into Baldur's Gate and destroy the class system that we've been stuck to, and all the people are. Well, he started to attack the Flaming Fist, and of course, this was many of the people are cheering that on.
And they should. I mean, you remember what we've discussed about this. I mean,
Well,
Baldur's Gate is full of corrupt politicians, and no one gives a care for us or for any of the other folk around here. I think this is good news, right? This is our time. We've been talking about this.
I just don't know, Bryn. It it doesn't seem right with everything that happened at El Terrell. Something like this that it's a this beast declaring itself our savior.
Yes, it does seem a little strange, but well, I heard this creature's name is Gargoth. Do you know where their source of wh- where this creature resides here in Baldur's Gate? Their source of operations?
Well, I don't know. I've heard things. Some say it sounds like maybe just a day or two ago he attacked the base of operations of the Flaming Fist, their fortress. And they abandoned it. Some think that maybe he's holed up there.
Okay, and father is safe, but out in the front lines.
Yes, he's joined the protests. He's been this Gargoth. He somehow he's got his followers. A number of them stormed the bank and has been distributing coin amongst the people. He's become quite a popular figure, Bryn.
Okay, great. I'm gonna go find them. I think I can help. You just sit tight, mother. Take care of the children. I love them all. I love you. I'll be back. Don't worry.
I can't promise you that, but May grace be with you. As she watches you fly out the door, she just has a mother's worried look as you leave.
Oh, wait, one more thing. And I fly back in and I drop 300 gold pieces. And then I fly out.
And she's just... At some point, I'm going to need an explanation of this, Bren.
Buy yourself something nice. And then I'm gonna go head towards the. I don't know. I guess my first guess is to go to what was the Flaming Fist's headquarters, because that's where I'm assuming Gargoth has set up his operations.
Okay, that sounds good. Put a pin in that as we go back to the other three back in the three kegs. Or the three old kegs. And you were standing, you just got done with a conversation with the very intoxicated Captain Zaj. You're kind of being eyeballed by a figure at the back of the bar who's smoking a pipe. But what would you all like to do?
I would like to find a little corner to tuck myself into, and I want to cast Sending and send a message to my sister, Gwyneth, and just ask, I know we haven't talked in a while, but is the family okay?
Let's see. After probably trying, who's this? You know, you're gonna have a little bit of that. And what is this? You know, she doesn't know you as this like spellcaster that can cast Sending, but you'll get past that, and then she will say, "The family is fine. We're doing well. We're safe here in the city. Not really sure which side of this we fall into, but so far we've been left alone, and we're just kind of waiting it out and trying to see what's going to happen. A lot of uncertainty, but we are safe."
Cool. I'll just leave it like that because I don't want to spend another spell slot. But I'm very relieved that everyone's at least okay. And then I'll join back with everybody else.
Okay.
Well, I think who we're supposed to talk to is probably, because he's been watching us very intently as we've eaten so many things.
Oh, yes, we have been perhaps a bit rude. Excuse me, and he takes a glass of wine. Hello. My name is Lord Aplos Althea. I was curious. And I apologize. I'm not entirely sure of the title or which part is the first and last name, as it's not one I'm familiar with. Are you Wrath?
I am. I've been waiting for you.
Excellent. Well, if you wouldn't mind actually joining us, there's rather a lot of plates. I don't know how familiar you are with our situation, but I do hope you'll excuse. We have a fair bit of appetite.
That is fine. And he picks himself up and moves on over to your table and gives a very judgy look at the amount of food that you are all consuming. But he, at some point, like grabs maybe a few of the like a leg of turkey leg or something that is there, and starts to nibble a bit. And he just kind of leans back in the wooden chair and he says, "So, you are the ones that are going to assist us with recovery of the Dark Queen's treasure. I was told that there would be 4 of you."
There are 4. One of our members has family in the lower city, so upon learning of the situation, she stepped aside to check in on them. She'll be joining us shortly.
Well, what we're going to have to do might take 4. But we can chat while we wait for them. Are you aware of Gargoth and his presence in the city? He's been unleashed.
Vaguely.
He's a devil, a very powerful one at that. He'd been contained within a prison of sorts for a great long time. A celestial prison, a shield, in fact. But it would appear that he'd fallen into the hands of someone. I'm not exactly sure, but we all we know is that he's been released. A fight against this thing.
Lorem is just stone-faced,
I'm
absolutely
still
not
not
betraying
convinced it was a bad
anything.
idea. I'm not convinced it was a bad idea so far.
You're still on Team Smiler even now. You're like, he knew.
Yes. Well, it would be good to likely round up a loose devil. Though, was that part of the treasure?
It was not part of the treasure. The issue is that this Gargoth has set himself up in the tower that once belonged to the Flaming Fist, where they had confiscated the wealth of the Van Thamper family. Now sits upon a pile of our treasure, and he's an obstacle. It's going to be hard to remove. Straight up
Yes.
fight against this fiend is a lost cause. The entirety of the Flaming Fist can deal with him. Us four sitting here together, we're not going to be able to either. But if we could recover the shield, I am convinced that I could enact a ritual to rebind him back to his celestial prison. Problem is, I don't know where it is.
Well,
We so happen to have contacts. Who might know? We could ask
Mhm.
around.
Well, and who might that be?
Well, we've done a bit of work on multiple sides of the city, including the Flaming Fist, and perhaps the Guild might know. They're the keeper of all the city's secrets.
They have been very quiet as of late. But I haven't heard any stories suggesting any shakeups or anything like that. From what I understand, Nine Fingers Keen is the ringleader of the guild.
Yes.
She is.
What I've heard is that she is taken to holding up in a tavern in the lower city. A tavern called the Low Lantern.
I think merits a visit.
Yes. We should certainly look into that. Also, I can't recall, as I'm not particularly good with monies. Did we ever deal with that chest of coin that we tossed into one of the cisterns in the sewer?
Oh,
No.
unless it was recovered, it should still be the. Oh, we found soul coins down there, didn't we? We found coins
I don't
with
think so.
weird. No, or were they just coins with depictions of Merkel on them?
I think there were the coins of the pictures of
Yeah,
Merkel.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
I still have one of those. I think I picked one up.
But that may also be part of the treasure, so we should check on that. And did we retain that fancy bag that if things were put in it went somewhere else? And I was thinking of that because if we wanted to know where the guild was and we put something in there that we could find, that might point us towards where the guild is, or at least where the holder of the other end of that bag is.
That might dump directly into their vault.
Well, yes, but I was thinking something that could go through and perhaps report back or send a signal or such things.
Are you putting Imsum in the bag?
That's an idea. If Imsum lives, you can just dismiss him and resummon him, can't you?
Well, Bryn's
That's how
not here.
familiars work? I don't
Yeah,
know. She's not here.
She's not here to tell us, but I mean, maybe.
And if we were to pursue Nine Fingers at the tavern, and Imson was to appear in what appeared to be the back room of a tavern, that would seem a good confirmation of our suspicions.
Well, I guess when Bryn gets here, we can ask her. But I mean, who knows what she's off doing?
And is this likely all that would need to be done? Recapturing this Gargoth Devil fellow, and then recovering the gold from the Flaming Fist Tower. How would that be accomplished?
If you can get me the shield, we can work out a plan for how we might try to rebind. We would have to get in proximity to the thing. That's not going to be easy, but maybe we put a pin in that for now. First objective would be to find the shield. Second objective would be to remove the fiend. Once we've accomplished that and confirmed that the treasure is still there, you can leave that to me. I will get it back to the Dark Queen.
Yes. So, I suppose we should either wait here for Miss Bryn, or go and fetch Miss Bryn.
I think we should wait here.
But she knows where we're supposed to meet, so surely when
yes.
she's done with her business, she'll come here. I don't know if we'll be able to get in and out of the city as easily as she
No, I don't think so. Not as easy as she can.
And if we are to be stuck here for a short while, I do know a tailor who could have a new suit done for me quite quickly.
I think we have hours.
Yes.
Aplos.
Yeah, you probably have plenty of time here. So we could switch gears and see what Bryn is up to. As Bryn, let's see. I don't have a. I just want to give you kind of a sense of the different places that you're visiting. So you would have been out here in the outer city. Those of you that are at the tavern, the Three Kegs, that's like over here. It's pretty close to where the Wide is. But Bryn, you were out in the outer city, so you returned back through Basilisk Gate, and with this knowledge that you now have about where the devil might be, you start making your way through the city to the Sea Tower of Baldurin, which is over here. And actually, you know what? There might be an image of this location. Maybe not. But as you can see, the Sea Tower of Baldurin is actually out on this island that's out in the bay. Maybe I can hold it up and see if you can see the image of it. So it's not really a tower; it's more of a garrison. It's a full keep. It's meant to garrison the Flaming Fist. There's a gatehouse. Portcullis is dropped. Each of the 5 towers has ballistae, large ballistae siege weapons that are mounted on top. Likely, all of them likely are for any incoming sea attacks that would be coming into the bay or any invasion of that kind. But nonetheless, they are there. You don't see really anyone manning the towers. There's nobody up there like there normally would be. But yeah, that is what you see is the closed gate of the sea tower of Baldur, and there's no obvious uh, sight of the devil.
All right. I'll just start making my way in.
Okay, so you would approach, and the portcullis of the tower would be closed. How long does your fly last?
I think it's only 10 minutes.
Okay, that's not in play
Oh,
currently. Um, so how would you like to make your way in?
there's no one on the walls or anything?
Nope.
Okay. Then I am going to. Oh darn. I'm just gonna start shouting. Hello? Anyone home? Gargoth?
And nothing heeds your call. Nothing comes out.
Okay. Imsum, uh, why don't you fly up there? Try to see if you can get someone's attention. Let them know that I'm out here.
And Impson gulps and flies up and over, and maybe gets a good view of the courtyard inside. Um, Basically, what you'll see is off to Impsum's like the to the north, but Impsum's left as he's flying up. You would see what likely it was like maybe like the jailhouse, the place where they would maybe house any kind of long term prisoners that they were going to keep. But then straight ahead is the larger keep structure. That would contain. This is where the leader, whoever the current blaze of the Flaming Fist is, would have their headquarters and offices in there. All the administrative building, offices and things like that would be in that main keep. So there's yeah, double doors, wooden double doors that could be barred from the other side would be the proper entrance to this building, like three-story structure.
Okay. Yeah, he'll head in. I don't think he's gonna attempt to be invisible here. He's just gonna go through the windows or whatever opening and try to find closest person that it doesn't, from a lackey to I don't know anyone higher up, to just try to get their attention towards the wall where Bryn is standing. And she's still shouting.
Okay, so like Imsum is kind of like flying around, maybe there are like arrow slits and things like that that would be in the towers, so maybe
Yeah,
taking a
something
peek
like that.
through things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we'll say like on the I'll try to have this image. If we ever return here, I need to get the actual image is really helpful. But this like southernmost tower is probably the tallest tower of the five. It is I think like 6 stories. Sorry, 5 stories tall, and on the middle story, as Imsum is peeking into the arrow slit, um, you would perceive that there is some kind of there are two individuals in there. There's candles laid out, and some kind of a painted on symbol, summoning circle of sorts in the middle of the floor. In the middle of it, a brazier, in which you can see these two individuals are putting coin and treasure in, and there's like a blue flame there that seems to be consuming this treasure. And in doing so, you can see kind of above the circle a portal opening up, and a devil coming forth, wreathed in just drenched or covered in chain. Um, it just looks like a flayed humanoid with chain just kind of wrapped all over its body.
All right. Yeah. Imsum's gonna take a gulp, swallow, and head over and make himself known. I don't know if you want me to speak for Imsum in this case, but
Okay, so in this case, like, there wouldn't be like an easy way probably for Imsum to get in there,
oh,
but with the arrow slit, you could announce yourself and they would likely react.
okay. Yeah. He'll make himself known in the arrow slit and say, um, my great My great devil lord, one of the warlords of Avernus seeks audience with you. She
And
resides just outside the gate.
make a persuasion check.
Persuasion? All right, that's +4.
Okay, so you perceive the two figures look at the chained devil, and they say, "Come with us. We may have your first task available." And you kind of perceive them going down some stairs, and pretty soon, the tower opens, and these two individuals emerge with this chained devil, and they say, "Avernus. That is an interesting claim."
It is a claim, and it is true. This warlord is just outside your doors, offering her aid to your just cause. She is a powerful being. She has slayed Raga Draga, the warlord, and defeated Feanor, the great necromancer, and is an ally to those of powerful magics. And she is here to help you take over this city from those who would use it for their own corrupt purposes.
You can see one of the humanoids goes to that main keep. The other, with the chain devil, goes to the portcullis of the main gate where you're presumably standing. And so they look out at you through the portcullis and they say, "So you wish to make yourself available to Gargoth?"
They're talking to Bryn now?
Yeah, yeah. So they make their way to the portcullis. They're directly addressing you now.
Ah, great. And Bryn says, yes, I do. I wish to aid in the revolution. I am a fellow sister in the just cause.
Well, your first task. At some point, the other humanoid comes back, and they kind of confer with each other, and they say, Gargoth has a task for you. You see, Gargoth wishes to install a new order here in Baldur's Gate. The Patriarchs and the Council of Four, they are reluctant to relinquish the keys to Baldur's Gate. They remain, they resist, and they need to be gone. But they hold they hold the gates. We need to find another way through to the other side. Now, the sewers of this city, we know that there are tunnels. There are ways to navigate the city underground. Flaming Fist has already thought of this and closed many of them off, but there has to be a way that we could infiltrate to the other side. Find this way for us, and you will have Gargoth's favor.
And any reason why Gargoth can't tell me this himself?
Well, Gargoth is quite busy planning the revolution's next moves.
But okay. And Imsum's gonna be like, this is a great warlord of Avernus. She has great power that she can help and is a valuable ally. You do not want to insult her. Yes.
Gargoth wishes, if you are so valuable, prove your worth. Bring us something of value, and you will have your audience with Gargoth.
Uh, okay, I can do that. Do you have maybe a pamphlet or some literature I can read up on Gargoth's whole plan after I'm all for this uprising. I love it. I've been telling everyone, my mother and my father, that this is something that needs to happen. But I mean, after the revolution, we need to install some sort of democracy. That's what I've been saying.
He
People,
Gargoth is busy penning his little crimson book that will lay out the foundation of the revolution.
great,
And it
excellent.
will it will be available for you soon in both hardcover and paperback.
Great. I think I do know of a path that my friends and I took to get from the lower city to the upper city. I'm fairly certain not even the Flaming Fist is well aware of it because it was only known to the late Duke Van Thamper, which, by the way, I did defeat. So huzzah for the revolution. Um, I think that may be a great entrance way.
Okay, so you can see that they, as soon as you start kind of laying it out, they pull out some parchment. They start like kind of jotting down some notes of your what you're detailing as a possible way from Lower City directly underneath to from basically from the bathhouse to Van Thamper, and one of them kind of scurries back to that gatehouse. You wait a little bit. They instruct you to wait there, and then when he returns, they lift the gate and they say, "Welcome. Gargoth will see you now. Quite pleased with this information."
Excellent. I'm glad I can help.
And let's put a pin in this for just a second. I just want to check in with the other three to see if what we're up to. We're going to find a tailor. Um, you'd be able to
Yes.
find one.
Absolutely,
Plenty.
Hmm?
It's very important that he stays fashionable during this time of strife.
Well, yes. I mean, in such an uprising, I mean, it is very fashionable to, rework, sort of show that we're as one with the lower people, wear some clothes we haven't worn in a while, um, bring back some old fashions, donate some things from, the closets that haven't been worn in a while.
I'm not sure that that will be appreciated right now, Ablos, but you do what makes you feel good.
Well, I mean, it is well known that the lower classes don't really appreciate fashion, but
So,
Yeah, you've been you've taken care of some of these other tasks that you have, and yet Bryn does not show.
um, hmm. Well, um, you don't suppose she would have gotten into trouble, getting back to the her home?
no, I mean, quite frankly, given Bryn's, shall we say, political proclivities, um, I would think that she's probably, standing on the front lines outside the
She's
gates.
oh,
Placard.
oh no, she's probably making the trouble. Um,
Um,
Kira,
well,
let me try and get in touch with her, and I'll go ahead and cast sending
All
to
right.
Bryn. It's like, Bryn, where are you? It's been a couple of hours. We're waiting for you at the Three Old Kegs.
And
Uh,
so, Bryn, this is happening like as you're being escorted to like you're with the chain devil and the two humans, and you're being escorted to the headquarters where you're expecting to meet Gargoth.
okay. I'll say, great. I'll meet you there. Bringing some friends. I am about to meet with Gargoth. Be right back.
And you see Lorem just go white. She's apparently talking to Gargoth right now.
Well,
And
Oh?
I just turn and look at Wrath. Shield, now's our chance.
What? We mean now's our chance. Yeah, we haven't gone
Apparently
anywhere.
apparently our fourth member has been busy while we've been drinking and is apparently about to have an audience with Gargoth directly.
Okay, I don't know what that means exactly.
Don't
Is
we
this a
need to
good
have the
thing or a bad
shield?
thing?
Don't we need to have the shield in proximity to him?
Well, if we're going to do the try to bind it to the shield, yes.
Well, we have a person who is going to be in proximity to Gargoth.
Do you have the shield?
No, but we know where it is.
Do we?
And so I'm gonna get up and
like,
try and
all
get
right, bring me the
else.
shield and we'll do something.
So we need to book it into the low lantern.
Okay.
Aplos like looks down. He's like half pinned, like he's got like half a shirt on and it's all like pinned. He's like, oh, and then he just starts pulling his leathers on over top of it to go.
So, how are you all going to get to Low Lantern?
So
How far is it? Just
Well, the issue is all the gates are
right, they're
closed.
all closed.
Um,
I guess we could go through the sewer, right?
so I want to how tall are the walls, like the cliffs that separate the two levels of the city?
The walls themselves are probably, I don't know, at least 15 feet tall. And then, the elevation, they're all on different bluffs. So it'd probably be a good, I don't know, I'd say a 25-foot drop from the top of one of the walls.
That's doable.
Yeah.
Are we just clambering over?
I could take someone, and then whoever is the most nimble can try and fall gracefully.
Aplos is like chugging along, like confused. He's like, what? Oh, well, I suppose if we don't want to try and engage the Flaming Fist or, you know, any of our contacts or pull rank or why are we ignoring all these options? And he's like half climbing up the wall.
It's just clamoring. Okay, so clamoring we go.
This is faster. So I would want to take us to, if we know it's in the lower city, I want to take us like to the other end of the wide, from the three kegs to the wall there, not to a gate, just to the wall.
What does that mean? You're casting a spell or something, or?
Yeah, so I'm gonna dimension door probably Aplos down, and then Evangeline, you're Dexy. You could probably make your way up and over.
Yeah, I'll scamper.
Okay, so Lorem and Aplos do a dimension door to the other side. Evangeline, what are you up to?
I'm honestly a little irritated with everyone, all of them, right now. But
Going back to the
will
wide.
I'm going back to the wide. I'm sitting at my shop and I'm saying, I'm the only one open. Come buy these trinkets. But no, I'll scamper up. I'm hiking,
Give me, there are seconds. I think you probably have. What maybe you don't have that second story work, but you got grappling hook and stuff. You're gonna be able to get over. The issue is how stealthy can you be? So give me a stealth check.
You have bardic inspiration.
I have bardic inspiration. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna need that bardic inspiration.
D8.
Yeah.
Okay. with a 13, you manage to get. It's not the most graceful of your climbs over a wall, but you are able to do so fast enough that you don't arise any pick up any eyes from any of the towers. And so you get to the other side, and so I'm imagining you all are kind of over in this side of town over here, and navigating through the streets. You would pick up all those same things that Bryn is noticing. There's definitely some overcrowding. There's more people in this city currently than probably it can really support. Um, in terms of people don't have proper homes and fixtures. They're living in the alleyways and things like that. Um, and as you're navigating down, you get you over to Low Lantern, which was your destination. And as you're getting closer to the bay, there's kind of that very light mist or fog off of the water. Not so much that you can't really perceive through it, but you're just kind of getting that cooling effect off of the water as you are making your way to the Low Lantern, which is built right into an old ship that was converted into a tavern. And the rig still has its rigging and things like that. The sails, all that stuff has been taken down, but for the most part, it is this ornament to the motif of the Low Lantern. There's a wooden staircase that climbs from the wharf's edge to the main deck, and then there's another stairway that leads you down into the proper tavern. And there's a green light that is held outside, which is kind of the Baldur's Gate signal that we're open for business.
So like Aplos is this whole trip as he's going along, he's still, strapping down his armor and everything, and he's getting through. And as we're passing through all these super overcrowded areas and probably hearing cries with like down with the nobility and that sort of stuff. And occasionally he's getting thumped on the shoulder and being like, right on, brother. And I'm like, he's like, they don't, oh, how bad do I look? And he's like realizing how bad his armor is, having been literally through hell and back. He's like, I look like a common thug.
It's a good
Yeah,
look
you-
on you,
Your
Atlas.
armor has been all like
Like,
You know,
because his
It's
armor
sanded
used to
down
be
and-
spiky armor that was ground down. It's now beat up. He's taken huge hits, and he's still covered in dust and rust and muck. And he's like, oh.
Just keep quiet.
He's got a big dog padding along by its side that's got a little bit of wolf hellhound in it. Oh.
As you make your way into the tavern itself, you can see there's a fair number of people here celebrating and having drinks and such. Over at the main bar, there is a let's see. A human female. She's wearing, the big captain's hat. Kind of signifies she's working behind the bar, but also the owner of this non-seafaring vessel. And as you come in, she says, "Well, how are we doing today? What can I get for you? What brings you to the Low Lantern?"
I just kind of nod and I'm looking around for nines.
As you're looking around this crowd on this deck, you don't spot her. Most of the people that you're seeing here, they just kind of look more like the working class of Baldur's Gate. You don't really see anyone that sticks out as a guild member, although they wouldn't necessarily be wearing any kind of uniform or anything. But Keen herself does not seem to be here. But based on the size of this ship, you would guess that there are probably several floors below the one that you are on currently.
I will start looking for stairs, I guess.
There are stairs that lead down.
Oh, Mr. Loam, Could I borrow a gold or two? I seem to be out, and I would like a cider.
I before I rush off, I kind of like just grab a handful out of my massive bag of gold that I have on me and just kind of shove it in Aplos's direction.
Oh, well, this seems a bit much for cider, but perhaps I'll have something else then too.
Grab another snack, another apple.
Another apple. Do you do pie?
Ooh, pie sounds delightful.
Yeah, you know whatever you ask for, they promptly deliver. Um,
And Aplos will sensibly put his gold away where it goes, which means he opens up his big sword case and puts the coins in there and snaps his sword case closed and puts it back on his back. Um, so well, we're here for a bit of business and pleasure. I was hoping for the cider, and we're a little late to the party, I assume. Things have been going on rather quickly here. Yes.
well, yeah, they have, but you know, better late than never, right? So,
Well, I
you,
suppose, but I was under the impression business was rather good in this area, under the previous um arrangements.
well, party business is always good here at the Low Lantern. So, you know, I don't like to talk politics. I think you know, I'm here to provide a service to let people forget about all of this, right?
Yes, I
And
suppose that's true.
she looks at Evangeline. What's your pleasure, dear?
Oh, I've just had a large meal not too long ago, but if you have any, let's have some wine. What wine did you have?
Sure, and she'll show you a few different you know, kind of middle of the line labels, and people
It's
pick out one that you
fine.
enjoy, and she pours that for you. As you're chit chatting with her, Lorem, you're taking a look at the stairway, and it leads down to what seems like another like kind of like a sub lounge floor of the deck. Heading down there, as you head
Uh,
down there, it's like just as busy, if not more busy, than this first level that you were on, and you can just smell like the scent of humanity. It's just sweaty with all the people that are kind of packed down there. You know, I don't know, college bar type of thing. You know,
Oh
there's a line to get to the
no.
bar. You're gonna have to elbow your way up there. It's miserable, and yet everyone stays for some reason. And as you're kind of moving through there, um, you would spot that there's definitely like another staircase that leads down, but posted up at that stairwell is there's a woman who's wearing leather armor. And she just has the look of kind of like a bouncer or security. She's kind of scanning around, and nearby her you spot three others that are armed, that look like they're probably her backup, that are just kind of interspersed within the crowd, sitting down in chairs, maybe one of them even like striking up conversation with other patrons, just kind of blend in.
I march up straight to the bouncer type and just walk right up and goes, I need to speak to Nine, and then I will take out a portion of my gold and just put 50 gold, hold out 50 gold for them.
She looks down at your hand or your handout, and she says, she looks down, she looks up, and she says, "You're gonna have to do better than that. What is this? What is this concerning?"
Oh, was that not enough? I'll just pull out my bag, and I'm assuming I have like a separate bag on me, and I'll section out another 100 gold. So, and she's now holding 150 gold. It's important.
And she
We've done
says,
some.
"Put your money away. You're making a fool of yourself and being quite insulting to me. Now, what is this regarding?"
This is regarding a favor we did for Nines previously.
It is quite vague and
Do
not the
y'all
type
remember
of
coming
ticket to
into
ride that you're going to need to be able to meet with Nine.
We're the reason the Van Dampers are gone.
This is a boast. What is your business with Nine?
We need to talk about the shield.
And she stares at you for a while. You can tell she knows what you're talking about.
She knows the shield.
She's processing it, and she says, "All right, follow me." And she leads you down the stairs, and before you as you're descending, you notice that one of the other, just like clockwork, one of the other bouncers kind of resumes her post as you're being escorted. Um, let's pause there and go back to Bryn. Just trying to give everyone, balance out the time and whatnot. So Bryn, oh god. Okay, so you're being marched straight forward to where that gatehouse is inside the fort of Baldurin. And you are brought forth. The doors open. They knock and kind of signal, to let them in. And you're escorted into eventually what is basically the mess, like a large mess hall. Although the tables and everything like that have been kind of taken out of this room. Just stone walls, stone floor. And at one end of the hall are just heaps and piles of gold. Treasure chests contain some of the wealth, but mostly it's just loose coin that has been stacked up on one side. And sitting on it all is a pit fiend with a visage that reminds you of that emblem that was on the shield itself. And so the fiend looks out at you and says, "That was some tip that you had. Well done. Bryn, is it?"
Yes, Bryn Hurthley.
Bryn Hurthley, it is a pleasure to meet you. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Gargoth. I understand that you have been maybe away for some time, and I've just recently become appraised of the new situation here in Baldur's Gate.
Yes, that's correct. It may appear that perhaps the two of us have switched places in some sense. My companions and I have been spending the last few days, I guess, down in Avernus. We've been attempting to recover the city of El Terrell. And
El Terrell. That is some task. And yet you find yourself here.
yes, we are here on a assignment from one of the great devils of hell. But once we returned, I heard news of you and your new cause to rise up in revolt against the corrupted upper class of Baldur's Gate. And as you may be able to tell, I am one of the, not so fortunate here in Baldur's Gate. And this is something that, let's just say I would like to help if there's any way possible.
I think there is. You're sympathetic to the cause. There are many roles to play in our revolution, and we are going to make life better. For folk like you, for your family, and for your children down the line. We are going to reshape Baldur's Gate into a society that does well for all. No longer this system that the patriarchs have set up for you. We're going to make things right. This information that you have shared with my associates is going to do us well. We will be able to finally get the patriarchs to flee the city and begin reconstruction of our new society.
Okay, Bryn's not a complete fool. She's spent long enough in Avernus. Can she like insight check that, see what's up? Like this is all sounding like too good to be true.
Yeah, you could do an insight check.
Okay. Let's see here. Because of course I am very skilled in insight.
You're not really sure what his motivation is in all of this. It sounds like he's going to I mean he's making a lot of promises that you everything that he's saying is with some amount of conviction that he's going to follow through with these promises. But while you're listening to him, maybe you're having a hard time seeing what is his motivation. Why is he wanting to do this?
Yes, other than him sitting atop a mountain of gold.
I mean, it certainly probably looks that way, but he's got the gold, and yet he's
still here.
He's
still
here.
Supporting the cause. Excellent. Yeah, that sounds great. Yes. That is why I'm here. I am here to growing up in Baldur's Gate is just a lot that I'd like to see changed, and it's just amazing to see it actually happening.
Well, Bryn, let me ask you this. When we have the patriarchs out of here, once the Council of Four is a distant memory, what would you have me do? What would be the number one thing you would like to see changed when we reform the rules of Baldur's Gate?
Oh, well, I suppose we could I guess abolish this whole patriarch system and there I don't know, increase the there's okay, out of character. There's like a House of like Commons, right? In Baldur's Gate.
It's not exactly a House of Commons, it's a parliament, but
Okay.
the patriarchs basically make up the people that are in that, yeah.
Okay.
The patriarchs and some like Lorum's family is like kind of upper middle class, like they could
Still wealthy.
probably manufacture it to be a member of that, but it's mostly ornamental. The Council of Four does all the heavy lifting of government.
Sure, makes sense. Okay, then Bryn's just gonna say, I'm no politician. I'm sure there's plenty of others who have given more thought to this. But perhaps just I don't know. I feel like everyone needs a voice. From the recent refugees all the way up to the noble born. And don't get me wrong, I have friends that are nobles. I have a good friend who's actually a noble, in fact, and I think they're sorry. And I think they're very good people, most of them. But
Oh.
I don't know. It's just sometimes I talk to him and he doesn't quite understand the troubles that we're all facing here. So I don't want to presume to know how this works out. I'm sure there are far more educated folk than I. But I'd like to do my part.
I'm hearing you want to see representation and you want to see mercy for these patriarchs. All right.
Yes, taxation without representation is a crime. I think I've heard someone say that before.
That That sounds like a fair. Everyone needs to be represented, and everyone needs to pay taxes. I like that. And he says, "Yeah, we will try to have a soft touch when we alleviate the patriarchs of their position. I think you were wise in suggesting that."
Great. So I'm glad to help in any way possible. I just have one slight request. Uh, my friends here were here to try to recover something that was lost from um, Tiamat. I don't know if you've come across anything similar to that.
My, Bryn! You rub shoulders with some big names.
Yes, of course. That's why I'm here with you.
Well, of
Kind of just
course.
gestures like wildly attempting to flatter, but not flattering at all.
Like Bryn's pulling the big move, walking around rubbing his shoulders.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. Little to the left. Yes. So, what is it? Tell me, what would Tiamat like?
Something about some treasure that the Van Dampers may have stolen.
Oh, you mean this treasure behind me?
Oh, all that,
All of this.
all that.
Well, I think Tiamat. It doesn't look like hers. It looks like it is currently mine, and I think that it belongs to the people of Baldur's Gate.
Oh, um, yes, I suppose it does. You can switch back to the others.
Tiamat, yeah.
I
Tiamat will
don't
find
know
other
what it's gonna
treasure.
do right now.
So switching back, let's we got like a three-way split, which is always good. Aplos and Evangeline are up in the tavern level. You just had ordered some drinks. Maybe you're realizing Lorem has vacated the scene. What would the two of you like to do?
Oh, I thought you were watching him.
I think he went down. Do you want to try to join him or let
Well,
him do his thing?
We should probably at least keep up. I feel like it was going to be an energetic sort of thing, and I'm a little surprised he strode off on his own. But, yes.
It's just
Come
I
along,
still got
Stevia.
I got my wine. I'm kind of checked out of this. I'm like, I know shit's gonna go down, so I'm just hanging back, watching it blow up.
All right, Evangeline and Aplos, give me perception checks as you head down to the lower level. Let's see if you can catch a glimpse of Lorem as he's descending down to the last level of the boat.
Ooh,
Okay.
16.
Aplos, you see
Nah.
you kind of see the changing of the guard thing like happening, and you see like Lorem's form like descending down those stairs.
Oh, he's gone that way.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Miss Evangeline, I don't want to be the type of person who walks up and says, I'm with them to get past a bouncer. It
To
just,
get past a bouncer, but I mean, we are kind of with him, so
yes, but it just makes me feel dirty.
I'll do it for you, love. I'm gonna go up to the bouncer and literally say, "We're with him."
And then Lorem, you'll hear a call coming from the top of the stairs, like friends of yours.
And I'll just go, yes, just the two of them.
And then the two of you get waved down, and you're all together here on the lowest level of the boat. As you're kind of making your way, It's pretty cramped. This used to be, the storage kind of area of the vessel when it was still a seafaring kind of thing. But it has been kind of repurposed into some private rooms and such. And so you're led down a fairly cramped hall. And the person that you were with, this bouncer, she kind of does kind of a rhythmic knock on the door, probably signaling that some folk are about to come in. You hear the lock, the deadbolt kind of flip, and the door opens. And on the other side, you see Five Fingers Keen.
Thought it was 9.
Or, sorry, nine Fingers Keen.
What happened to the other 4?
Fingers have been
Rough times here in Baldur's Gate.
This character development up the wazoo in Baldur's Gate. Went from 9 to 5 fingers.
I give them that.
And so she has all 9 of her fingers, and she kind of looks out the hall and kind of urges you in. She's come in. And as soon as you're all in this small little office with her, she slams the door back and puts the deadbolt back on. And the room that you are currently in maybe served as like the captain's cabin or something like that at one time, but it's still pretty cramped. You see a bed, a wardrobe, a desk, and a rocking chair. There's an old oil lantern which hangs from a rusty hook bolted into the middle of the ceiling here. And she walks over to the rocking chair and plops herself down and kicks her feet up onto the desk. And she says, "So, the 3 of you are here. You must have done quite well for yourselves when you were in Van Thamper Manor, huh?"
Yes, we've gotten into we've developed a reputation in places. We're running a little bit short on time, so I hate to cut the pleasantries, but the shield.
Yeah, the shield.
What
The
happened?
shield. That's what I would like to know. This shield that I am hearing from my agents, you put it into that bag. It got into the
told her-
hands of one of my agents. And
We were
now
trying
there's
to grab
pandemonium
anything-
out in the streets.
Yes.
None of
so,
this is good for the guild.
We're here to fix it because we know how. We plucked that shield from the Van Thamper's manor because it looked very expensive and valuable. So we sent that along right before we almost killed Thymira Van Thamper. We did kill her later. So if you are still in possession of the shield and you give it back to us, we can put that thing back where it came from.
I
And
don't
you-
have the shield.
Oh,
And
no.
as she kind of this exasperation, you can see this tressum, this mangy old tressum, comes and bounds out from underneath the bed and drops into her lap. It looks like it's probably 30 years old. It's just a mangy old thing, but it plops into her lap, and she just starts petting it and comforting herself a bit. And she says, "That bag that I gave you went directly to my quartermaster, who also serves as the head banker at the counting house. For what I understand, he would be the one that has this shield that contains this fiend that is causing all this ruckus all throughout town, that the common folk have decided that he is their savior. There's no room for the guild in a system like that."
Well, there might be opportunity that you're not seeing in this. Everybody who's anybody knows that you actually run the city and that the patriarchs have nothing to do with it. But what if if they're removed, wouldn't that be an opportunity to install your own people in place?
I already have people in place. That's what the patriarchs are there for. That's what I pay them for. This is a dismantling of a very well oiled machine that has been working smoothly for the past some years.
Well,
And I've
either
worked
way,
very hard to maintain.
we're looking to get rid of this and of this devil creature. If we can get the shield back, we can seal him back in the shield, and we can take it with us back to hell. So it won't be a problem anymore, and you can claim that the Flaming Fist were able to kill this thing, and that would put a damper on this revolution.
The shield. Huh. No one has seen the shield. I've only heard rumors of it.
What
Well, it
happened to this?
exists.
Well,
it
I,
did.
I believe you that it exists. It used to be in the hands of another noble family in town. I've got some intel on it. I know something about it. The
It went.
location, though,
It went into
that's
your
a.
vaults. How did you lose track of it?
I just told you it went to my quartermaster,
And what
who
happened to
has.
him?
Well, I would suspect that he has something to do with releasing the thing into the city. Whatever deal the two of them made, I don't know, but I'm sure. And you go ahead and make an insight check.
Oh,
Okay. She just says, she's just kind of shifty eyed as she's talking, and she says, could be, could be he's made some deal to put himself in a position of power, dismantle, take out the guild, replace it with something where he's got more control.
Well, I do recall what the shield looked like, and I I do have the ability to locate objects within about 1,000 or so feet, if I'm familiar with them, and if they're not too far behind, thick metal walls and such things. So if we think we know about where it is, or if we just pick the areas that have those sorts of thick metal walls, um, then we can likely find it. And 1,000 feet's rather a long ways. Most manor houses aren't much bigger than that.
If it is true that my quartermaster was the one who has the shield, it could be that he's kept it. Could be that he's kept it with him in the counting house. We'd have to get in to find out to cast your spell. It's probably deep within the vaults if he kept it there.
are those vaults in any way connected to the sewers that run between the bathhouse and the vent dampers? You've got tunnels all over the city.
Not so. It is warded. The vaults are protected against such things. However, we had a portal that led into his office. If he hasn't deactivated that, there could be a way for you to get in.
That would work.
We would have to get it. We have to get to the sewers to get to the portal. But I could take you there if you're willing to help with this and get this fiend out of my city.
Yeah, unfortunately, the fiend is sitting on the gold that we need. So,
All right. And with that, you hear several screams happening on the level above you. Kind of a panic, and at some point, maybe just seconds later, kind of another rhythmic tap at the door, and you see Nine Fingers stands up, and she says, "I knew it. They're here.
ooh,
I just knew somebody was going to be coming to kill me, to get rid of me and my position amongst the people." And it just kind of trails off into some, paranoia under her breath as she pulls out some daggers and readies herself for a fight. Um, we'll push
Shield.
pause there on that. Um, let's see. Bryn, you were still talking with the Gargoth, and he had just suggested, nope, this treasure isn't probably going anywhere, at least not on his watch.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I guess you're right. Uh, we need to take care of our home first.
You got it, Bryn. So, I think what we could have you doing right now, I think the best way is for you to maybe be supervising. I'm gonna send some folk up to Upper City starting tomorrow. I want you to be down there in those sewer tunnels, just supervising things, making sure everything goes smoothly. Do you think you can handle that for me?
Yes, of course. What is the goal here?
Well, we're going to take on the Flaming Fist. We're going to catch him by surprise. With the information that you gave us, I think we'll be able to catch them off guard and finally get these patriarchs out of the city.
I like the sound of that.
And he says, I've got a lot of work to do, Bryn, and I think you probably are going to need to get some rest, so I'm going to leave you to it. My associates here will lead you out. And you're escorted out of the mess hall here, out the main keep, and back outside the tower.
Okay. So I'm outside. I'm gonna go. I guess I'm just gonna go head towards. Well, I don't know where you guys went, do I? So I guess she's just gonna make her way back to the outer city then.
Back out to like where your family is and things like
Yeah,
that. Okay.
just chill over there.
Okay. That sounds good. And I think this is probably a good point to maybe stop it. We've got some action that's probably going to happen in the Low Lantern when we pick up next time. Um, we'll see what Bryn is up to when she gets back out to the outer city. Maybe your father will be home after a long day sitting in the picket line. So yeah. Um, Cool. Well, thanks everyone that stuck it out with us watching our game here tonight, Descent into Avernus. We play this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. So definitely come back and check things out next week where we pick this up and see how our players are going to handle things. Um, yeah. Next game that we have on the channel will be on Friday. We've got a community Friday. Friday we have a community campaign at 7 p.m. So looking forward to playing that. And Sunday morning, I am going to be running one of the DCC Lankmar adventures, Masks of Lankmar. So I'm going to be doing a little heisty goodness Sunday morning with a few of the people that support the Patreon. So come back and check that stuff out. But for now, before I sign off, I'll just say if you had fun watching us, please come and join us in the Discord. Pop the link up there so you can come and hang out with us in between the streams. But for now, we will say good night, and we'll talk to you all soon.